Imagine sailing across the freezing North Atlantic with no compass, no GPS, no modern maps, just a wooden ship, a sky full of clouds, and an endless ocean in every direction. For the Vikings, this was not imagination. This was survival. They crossed some of the most dangerous waters on Earth, from Scandinavia to Iceland to Greenland, and even to North America. But one mystery has followed them for centuries. How did they find their way when the sun was hidden behind clouds? How did they navigate through fog, snow, and stormy skies? Some believe the answer was not a compass, not magic, not luck, but a crystal, a strange stone that may have helped Vikings see the position of the sun, even when the sun itself was invisible. This is the mystery of the Viking Sunstone. The Vikings were not just warriors, they were explorers, traders, shipbuilders, and some of the most fearless sailors in history. Their longships were fast, flexible, and strong enough to cross open seas. With these ships, they reached places that many people in Europe had never imagined. They sailed west across the North Atlantic to the Faroe Islands, to Iceland, to Greenland, and around the year 1000, they reached the shores of North America, long before Christopher Columbus. But there is a problem. The North Atlantic is not an easy ocean. It is cold, violent, foggy, and dangerous. The weather can change quickly. Clouds can hide the sun for days. Fog can erase the horizon. And without a reliable way to navigate, a ship could drift far off course and disappear forever. So how did the Vikings do it? To answer that, we need to understand the world they sailed through. A Viking navigator did not sit behind a wheel, looking at a screen. He watched everything: the color of the water, the movement of birds, the direction of waves, the shape of clouds, the smell of land, the position of the stars, and most importantly, the sun. The sun was one of the greatest tools for ancient navigation. If a sailor knew where the sun was, he could estimate direction. But in northern waters, the sun was not always visible. And this is where the mystery begins. In Old Norse stories, there are references to a strange object called a sunstone. One famous story describes a king using a stone to locate the sun, even when the sky was cloudy. For a long time, this sounded like legend, a poetic detail, a mythical object from Viking storytelling. But then scientists began asking a serious question. What if the sunstone was real? What if the Vikings used a natural crystal to detect sunlight hidden behind clouds? The idea sounds impossible at first, but it is based on real physics. Certain crystals can polarize light. That means they can filter sunlight in a special way. Even when the sun is blocked by clouds, some patterns of light in the sky can still reveal where the sun is. The human eye cannot easily see these patterns, but a crystal might help. One possible candidate is Iceland spar, a clear form of calcite. Iceland spar can split light into two images. When you rotate it, the brightness of those images changes. With enough skill, a navigator might use that change to estimate the hidden position of the sun. Another possible candidate is cordierite, and another is tourmaline. Different stones with different optical properties. But the idea is the same: a crystal used as a tool to read the sky, not magic, science hidden inside a legend. Now imagine a Viking navigator standing on a longship. The sea is gray, the sky is covered with clouds, the crew is silent. There is no visible sun, no clear direction. The ship moves through fog, and every wrong decision could lead to death. The navigator takes out a small crystal. He lifts it toward the sky. He turns it slowly. He watches the light change, and from that tiny shift, he finds the sun. Then he points the ship west, toward land, toward survival. It is a powerful image, but is it true? That is where the investigation becomes more complicated. The strongest argument for the sunstone idea is that it is possible. Experiments have shown that polarizing crystals can help locate the sun under certain cloudy conditions. Researchers have tested the concept and found that, in theory, a trained navigator could use such a stone. This does not prove that every Viking ship carried one, but it shows that the idea is not fantasy. It could work, and that matters, because ancient people often understood nature in ways we underestimate. They did not need modern science words to use natural effects. They learned through observation, through practice, through generations of experience. A Viking navigator may not have said, "This crystal polarizes light," but he could have known. When I turn this stone, the hidden sun reveals itself. That kind of knowledge could be passed from sailor to sailor, from father to son, from one voyage to the next. But there is a problem. So far, no confirmed Viking Sunstone has been found in a Viking ship burial. No crystal has been discovered with a label saying, "This was used for navigation." There are no Viking manuals explaining exactly how to use one, and that makes the mystery difficult. We have stories, we have physics, we have experiments, but we do not have final proof. That is why the Viking Sunstone remains a mystery, not because it is impossible, but because the evidence is incomplete. Some historians are cautious. They argue that Vikings may have navigated mainly through experience, by reading coastlines, birds, winds, currents, and the stars when visible. They may not have needed a crystal at all. Others believe the sunstone could have been one tool among many, not the only method, but part of a larger navigation system. And this idea makes sense. Ancient navigation was rarely based on one single tool. It was a combination of signs: the sun, the stars, the waves, the birds, the smell of land, the shape of clouds, and perhaps a crystal. There is also another fascinating clue. A crystal was found in a shipwreck from a later period, near the island of Alderney. The ship was not Viking. It was from centuries later, but the crystal was found near navigation tools. Some researchers suggested it may have been used as a sunstone-like instrument. Again, it does not prove Viking use, but it shows that such a tool could exist in a maritime context, and that keeps the question alive. Could sailors have used crystals for navigation longer than we realized? Could Viking knowledge have survived in later traditions? Or are we connecting pieces that do not truly belong together? The answer is still uncertain, but the mystery becomes even more interesting when we think about Viking voyages themselves. The journey from Norway to Iceland, from Iceland to Greenland, and from Greenland to North America was not simple. These were not short trips along safe coastlines. These were open sea routes through dangerous northern waters. To make these journeys repeatedly, the Vikings needed skill. Not just courage, skill. Their navigation must have been far more advanced than many people imagine, and that is why the Sunstone theory is so attractive. It gives us a possible window into a lost knowledge system, a way of seeing the world that modern people forgot. To us, a cloudy sky is just a cloudy sky. To a Viking navigator, it may have been full of hidden information: the angle of light, the direction of waves, the the behavior of seabirds, the smell of seaweed carried by wind. Tiny signs, invisible to most people, but readable to someone trained to survive. This is what makes Viking navigation so impressive. They were not blindly sailing into the unknown. They were reading nature like a map. And maybe the Sunstone was one page of that map. But we must be careful. It is easy to turn this story into fantasy, to imagine Vikings using magical crystals as if they had supernatural technology. That is not the real mystery. The real mystery is better. It is about human intelligence, observation, adaptation, and the ability to turn nature into a tool. If the Sunstone was real, then it was not magic. It was ancient science, a practical discovery hidden inside a legendary story. But if the Sunstone was not commonly used, the mystery is still powerful, because then we are left with an even bigger question. How did Viking navigators cross the ocean so successfully, with only their eyes, their memory, and their understanding of the natural world? Either way, the story reveals something incredible. The Vikings were not just raiders, they were masters of movement. They understood ships, weather, distance, risk, and the sea. Their world was not limited by fear of the unknown. It was expanded by it. They looked at the horizon and followed it. They crossed waters that could kill them and found new lands on the other side. So, was the Viking Sunstone real? Maybe. The science says it could work. The stories suggest it may have existed. The experiments show it is possible. But archaeology has not yet delivered the final answer. And maybe that is why the legend survives. Because somewhere between myth and science, between crystal and cloud, between history and the sea, there is a mystery we still have not fully solved. A small stone, held up to a gray northern sky, may have helped guide wooden ships across the ocean. Or perhaps the true Sunstone was not the crystal itself. Perhaps it was the Viking mind, trained to see what others could not, to read signs others ignored, to find direction, even when the sun had disappeared. And that may be the greatest mystery of all. Not just how the Vikings crossed the ocean, but how they learned to see the invisible. Because long before satellites, long before compasses became common in Europe, long before modern navigation, Viking ships were already moving across the edge of the known world. And somewhere in the fog, under a hidden sun, a navigator may have lifted a crystal to the sky, turned it slowly, and found the way home. The Viking Sunstone, ancient tool, legendary object, or lost science. Until the final evidence is found, the ocean keeps its secret.